Hello, and welcome to another video here on D20 Enclave. This kind of video is a little different from our normal content, so if you like this new format, please let me know down in the description. Now on to the video. Ignore the background, I wasn't sure what to put back there. What are the primary differences between 1D&D and 5th edition? Well, Wizards of the Coast is beginning to release playtest materials for modified rules, mechanics, classes in anticipation of the new D&D rule set arriving in 2024. They're doing this in the hopes that player feedback will help guide the upcoming iteration of the fantasy role-playing game. And we now have our first thorough look at what has changed. Wizards of the Coast is attempting to preserve the balance across D&D's various elements while keeping things entertaining and while luring new players to the game. As with all rule updates, there'll be winners and losers, fans and detractors, things getting buffed and things getting nerfed. It's critical to 1D&D's changes from 5th edition that they don't destroy the things that 5th edition does right, since D&D 5e, which debuted in 2014, is largely regarded as the most approachable D&D edition yet. At the same time, this is a fantastic chance to change unpopular rules, address frequent problems, and broaden the game's appeal. Of course, the 1D&D playtest isn't final. Wizards of the Coast can provide proposed adjustments, and players can offer feedback, compliments, criticisms to help shape 1D&D's course. New playtest materials are released each month through 2023. The updates to 1D&D that we've previously observed provide a clear picture of the direction that the RPG is going to take. And so far, character creation has dominated 1D&D's playtest materials, which is appropriate considering that creating a D&D character is typically the first thing you do in the game. A large portion of the changes made to character creation in 1D&D come from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. This source book introduced floating ability score increases, which allow an orc, elf, or gnome, or whatever, to receive bonuses to any ability score rather than locking them into certain choices based on their race, or species, as Wizard of the Coast is now calling it. This avoids some of the ickier stereotypes about some of the species, such as the idea of orcs as powerful brutes and tieflings as cunning con artists, and gives player characters a wider variety of mechanical options instead of being based on the character's species, and these perks are now connected to the backgrounds. Additionally, the playtest eliminates half races, like the half elf or the half orc, in favor of simpler identification for the main handbook. More races may now choose between medium and small sizes, allowing for greater customization. A brand new race called the Ardling, with a heavenly motif and animal-like head, I think Anubis, was also included in 1D&D, and it's wonderful to see a D&D player species that permits such a creative license, especially given the prevalence of animal species like tabaxi and turtle. Although thematically it's a little hazy, and playtests over the coming months will help designers establish a distinct character for the Ardling. The giant descendant Goliath is now part of the most recent playtest revisions for One D&D that were released in December. It's obvious that the designers were influenced by the Rune Knight subclass in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, because the game offers a variety of subspecies based on fire, hill, cloud, and storm giants, as well as the ability to temporarily increase in size. The fact that Dragonborn can now select between their breath weapon as a 15 or 30 foot cone or line, I think, is a significant improvement. And at level 5, they also gain the ability to fly temporarily. It's no secret that the feat system in D&D 5e lacked some balance. For low-level characters, some of the feats provided significant advantages, whereas for high-level characters, others became unnecessary or just bad. Each feat has a level requirement in One D&D, and each background has a first level feat attached to it. This ensures more consistent power surges at predetermined feat levels and grants each level 1 character a fun bonus ability to play with. That's at level 1, 4, 8, etc. The 5th edition classes are being recognized in this new edition, but there are currently no new classes in One D&D. Each D&D class now belongs to one of 4 categories: priest, expert, mage, or warrior. The goal here is to provide some clarity to the unique goals of each class while standardizing class characteristics and enhancing mechanical balances. The ideal party build for a party of 4 should have one representative of each category. The rogue, ranger, bard, and artificer are classified as experts. The rogue is essentially unaltered in One D&D playtest so far, for better or worse. The bard has been marginally modified, and the ranger solidifies the majority of Tasha's adjustments to significantly improve on the original 2014 class. The ranger now enjoys expertise, a feature that doubles certain skill proficiencies, and we anticipate seeing more cross-class abilities like this in other categories as well. We now clearly see the future of One D&D's caster classes thanks to the playtest updates for redesigned cleric that have recently gone live. Each class in 5th edition can specialize into a subclass, and although at different levels, warlock, cleric, and sorcerer specialize at level 1, whereas other classes can do so at levels 2 and 3. The new cleric, however, waits until level 3 to get its subclass, which allows the first few levels to serve as a more straightforward tutorial for less experienced players. One D&D's cleric gains the channel divinity feature at first level. This feature combines turn undead and the magic spark ability, which can be used to either heal allies or hurt your enemies. And like the fighting style for the ranger and fighter classes, you choose a holy order at level 2, which helps organize some common cleric traits such as proficiency with heavy armor. And in 5th edition, this has been dispersed inconsistently among multiple subclasses. We haven't yet seen playtests for the last 2 priests, the paladin or the druid, the mages, which is the wizard, warlock, and sorcerer, or the warriors, monk, barbarian, and fighter, but we anticipate hearing more on that soon. The list of spells, which were previously arranged by class, are now divided into 3 categories: primal, divine, and arcane. Each class has access to a different category based on the source of their magic. The druids utilize a primal list, the clerics the divine, and the wizards the arcane. A number of spells, such as light, are included in various lists, However, it appears that One D&D's alterations will prevent some classes from using spells that they previously had access to. The Bard has similar limitations. Any spell you prepare for this class must be an arcane spell, and it must be one of the following schools of magic: divination, enchantment, illusion, or transmutation. Rangers similarly use the primal list. However, they lack access to evocation spells now, although this feels more organized than the class spell lists in 5th edition. It runs the risk of feeling overly organized or unintuitive. I'm hopeful that the player input will steer this in the right direction. Additionally, the Bard and Ranger were both known casters in 5th edition, which meant they could learn a limited number of spells with each level, which would force the players to adopt specific spell styles based on their or play styles based on their spell choices. This was in contrast to other prepared casters who could choose from their spell list at the beginning of each day. Now that these two classes are in the latter category, it should offer them more variety, freedom, and opportunity with experimenting with various spells. This should also keep players from being forced to stick with subpar options for an extended period of time. We have yet to determine whether this is true for other known casters. The quantity of spells you can prepare is also neatly addressed in the most recent One D&D playtest. You simply prepare a certain number of spells at each level equal to the amount of spell slots you have available, rather than calculating a certain number of prepared spells each day based on your level and casting modifier. As a result, a level 1 cleric has 2 slots for first level spells and can prepare 2 spells of this level. It's really that easy. There will be more playtesting, and it's still unclear whether the current adjustments will make it into the final edition. Just keep in mind that you can visit D&D Beyond at any time and see the materials and provide input a few weeks after each part of the playtest is made available for download. I know I didn't cover everything here, so let me know if you like this type of content, and I may make a part 2 covering the rest. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.